Okay, I've had a lot of people asking about what I have or questions about if I have this or that, and it's sometimes it's a little hard because I have so much stuff. So I thought I'd do this little tour of my wood storage, so you can kind of go through this and see what I have, and see if there's anything that you might be interested in. So here we go. Of course, here we are in the wood storage. On my left, I have a variety of ash. This piece right here is an English walnut. It's actually one of my more expensive pieces. As you can see, $132. That's an inch and a half thick. Hits about 19, maybe 20 inches in some spots. I have some more of that up above. Some more of the English walnut up top. But along this wall, I have a lot of ash. A lot of this is relatively inexpensive, $8 or $9 here. You know, some are like 15. Just a lot of different pieces. Some pieces that could be like signs. Some pieces that are squared up on one side that could work as a shelf. I have some pieces that in here that you could probably make a river table out of. They're like some different cuts. And in some cases, there's ones like this one here that has there's two pieces that are actually completely separated, so they could make a river table. Again, fairly inexpensive. These pieces right here. I forgot what this one was. It's not that much. A little bit of spalted maple here, and these are some unique pieces. Some of them are 1 inch thick. Some of them are inch and a half. And again, you can see pricing on this, $14.24. There's some in the back here are going to be a little more. There's like a 32. Some ones are a little wider. These are about 8 feet. Here I have some more maple. This is a maple piece I have here that's really hefty, about 2 inches thick, like a great coffee table. And then behind it, some more maple pieces similar to that. This is some good hard maple. Some more spalted maple pieces here that are a little bit not as dense, but has some nice coloring in it. Some stuff behind there. Some people have made some bar tops out of these. There's some more of that. Let's see, more spalted maple pieces here that are more like about 7 feet tall. Maple along here. A lot of odd live edge pieces. Here's a black walnut piece. These are going to be more expensive ones as well. This one's a good hefty inch and a half. This one's about 6 feet tall. I have some of that. Here's another black walnut piece. One behind there. These are some thicker ones. Again, that's black walnut's going to be a more expensive wood. I got a lot of little stuff. Just little pieces for a black walnut as well. Some kind of unique shaped pieces. There's some more here. There's a little bit of black cherry I have. These are about 4 foot here. Some 6 foot pieces that could be shelves or whatever. This corner right here is like all slab cutoffs. Like he's got the bark on one side. They're going for really inexpensive, anywhere from 50 cents to $1 per lineal foot. So I have some that are 10 foot down to probably 4 or 5 feet, and that all again has. Well, some of these pieces actually are cut both sides, but a lot of these have, have the bark on the one side. It could make like a bench or some kind of a shelf. So that's a lot of this pretty inexpensive. Along here, some more ash. I have down here a few beams, some ash beams. These are like, this one's going to be $77 here. 110. This one is more like a 7x7 beam. I have some other shorter beams that are along here. There's one for $58. This is all black cherry along here. Odd cuts. These are like all odd cuts that could be used for unique artistic type things. A lot of unique stuff. Some people have gotten a couple of these and made some epoxy tables, put 2 of them together. Some more. Here's a black cherry beam. Put the mantelpiece. A lot of, here's some black walnut, just kind of unique. Cookies, various prices. I have cookies here anywhere from $1 to, you know, probably $10 or $15. There's some for smaller ones. There's a bunch of little ones in here, like coasters. Below that is some more ash. Some ash, pretty wide ash pieces here. I got one in the back there that's kind of a real thick, heavy beam. These are about 4 feet. And now this whole section of wall here is black walnut, odd cuts and unique pieces. Can be anywhere, you know, some of this is pretty inexpensive. Some of it has some unique shapes that for artistic type work or crafty work. Here's a real thick black walnut beam. This one's a little more expensive, $150. It does have a split down it that would need to be epoxied. I have a lot of log, half log cutoffs in here as well. And just some unique shapes of elongated cookies, I guess you'd call them. Here's some shorter pieces of black walnut, anywhere from 2 inches to 1 inch. There's some more pieces of black walnut for shelves or whatever. A lot of, again, unique pieces. These ones I always think of kind of look like ET. I got a whole bunch of those that are behind here. A lot of stuff in the back. If you ever come, you feel free to kind of pick through this. Most of these are marked. Here's some ones. These are some recent cuts that are still drying a little. And more over there. So again, these are all about probably 4 to 5 feet. And right now I'm going along the outside. A few more odd cuts there. We're still on the black walnut here. Unique pieces. Some black walnut short things if you do any wood turning or for small stuff. You can make rip that into pieces. Here's some more odd cookies, one of ash and one's just, I believe that's an ash as well. I actually got a stump here, a cedar stump that could make some kind of a base. This is all cedar wood here too, just some various cedar, not red cedar. And then I have some more English walnut over here. That's got some unique cuts. Again, I have more of this up top. Up top I have some wood that's drying, but that's pretty much dried, and I've been storing up there. Then I get into my Siberian elm, which it came here from Bergen. Actually, all this wood is pretty much local. The English walnut came from a neighbor. Black walnuts from a lot of my own land, and the ashes from my own land. Sometimes it's some people that are nearby. A lot of the Siberian elm that has a really kind of an interesting look. I got some thicker cookies down here and a kind of a stump at the bottom. Got some things that could make some nice coffee tables. These are about 4 foot high. And some shorter ones here, but pretty heavy duty ones here. Pretty wide ones here that can make nice coffee tables. Some maple here. A lot of variety of maple pieces, some spalted maple, some just kind of unique shapes, as you can see. They can be turned into, you know, wall decorations or shelves. Got a stack here of some box elder, just odd short things that are pretty inexpensive. These are like, I think anywhere from $3 to maybe $8 or something. More ash on the bottom here. Here's some more maple and some pine pieces. A lot more elongated cookies there. You can see some of the pricing on there, $12 and $4 at the bottom. I got some shorts here too, just little pieces, you know, $1 or $2. Here, some little stuff. So I've done the complete circle. Now I'm gonna just show you, I got my drying racks in the middle. Some of this is actually pretty dry. Here's some more black walnut. This is Siberian elm. Here again, I'm willing to sell any of these pieces too, even if they're not completely dried. The wood here is going to get to anywhere between 12 and 15% moisture content. Sometimes the stuff down lower takes a little longer. I got some ash here, a lot of unique ash pieces. Some more Siberian elm pieces here. Most of these have been here for well over 2 years actually. So it's really about as dry as it's going to get. But if you want any of this stuff that's fresher, I'm willing to sell that as well. There's some ways you can dry it at home, in an attic, or with a dehumidifier tent. There's some different methods you could use to get it down to air drying it to a moisture content that you can work with, depending on what you're doing. Here is some more ash on the bottom here. This is some black locust, which is a really hardy wood. Farmers used to use this for fence posts. It has very good rot resistance, very hard wood. So I got some unique cuts of that has a lot of holes and things in it that can make some nice epoxy work. More of it over here. Then I got some fresh black walnut that I've got up here. Some of this I've actually squared some up. So I do have some squared up black walnut. Again, some of this is not dry yet, but again, if you were interested in it, wanted to finish drying it yourself, I could sell. I've got a couple of really nice. Down here is some book match beams that I made. And they're going to be a little on the pricier side, but that one could be probably about it can vary up to about 24-inch if you put the two of them together. So down here I have some maple. This is some maple I originally cut with a chainsaw before I had my mill. It's going for really cheap. If anybody's interested in this, it's really rustic looking. Has a lot of, but it's some pretty wide stuff. It's about 10.5 foot, I think, is the length of these. So you can see I got some couple thick ones there. That I'd let go for really probably down in the neighborhood of like $3 a board foot. These are just also some chainsaw cut chunks that would need a lot of planing, but could make some nice coffee tables. And again, these would probably be similar in the $3 a board foot range. I'd let them go pretty cheap. Over here I got some long bandsaw cut maple. These are a little unique in that they start out wide here, and then they have like a little curve at the end. Maybe, and I'm willing to cut these too. This stack here, if you wanted like just those curved ends to make maybe like a bar top with an epoxy in the middle. I have more maple down here. These are bandsaw cut. These are a little straighter. They get really wide at the bottom. I got some real thick ones down here. So these might be a little more in the $4 board foot range. Maple here on both sides. Here's some maple pieces. Some more black walnut that I just stacked. Actually, this is some squared up stuff if you want it, if you're looking for that. Some ash here. Actually, a little bit of black walnut up there too. So that's what I got drying. Now I'm going to go up above. See, above I got a lot of stuff stored, and so I'm going to just take a walk up there. That's mostly stuff that's been drying for up to 3 years or possibly even more, and I've got it kind of marked off. I've got some shagbark hickory over there, English walnut. As you go, I've got what's up there. So, I do have a couple of maple legs there too, 4x4 legs. So we got some shagbark hickory. I think I might need some. Well, it's not too bad here. I was wondering if I was going to need some light, but it's doing pretty good. Okay, some hickory that's probably like 6 to 8 feet. I only got a few pieces of that. This right here is some of the English walnut pieces. These are about 8 foot. And you can see I have some pretty good sized pieces down here. They're going to have some knots and things in them, but the ones in the bottom are pretty wide. Could make some nice coffee tables. Here's just some poplar, some real lightweight stuff that's going for, I don't know, probably like a couple dollars a board foot. A lot of ash, 4x4 legs of various sizes. Over here, some Siberian elm, some longer pieces of that about. There's some wider, thinner ones, and then like an inch and a half down at the bottom. These are in the neighborhood of like, kind of use my hand as a gauge. They're more like 10, varying from 8 to 10 to 12 in some spots. Some ash, some heavy ash boards there. And now I'm gonna walk up and climb along here so you can see what else is here. So we got a little more. This is maple here. All this right in here is gonna be some maple. Some nice maple boards. There's some spalted in here. I got it. Some of this is up to 8 feet long. Again, I don't have a lot of real wide stuff, so my max that I can cut with my bandsaw is about 21 inches, and so often the widest I have is anywhere from 18 to 20, and then my pieces may get down from there. So a lot of this stuff is more like, 10 to 12, kind of smaller stuff. I got a big ash. Big maple beam here that I'm standing on. I'll see if I can get the size of that. It's a wheel about 4 inches. Some more curved maple pieces that some people take these and put them opposed to each other and make like an epoxy bar top table or something. This is my black walnut section, which you see is empty because I'm cutting up a lot right at the moment. But there's a little bit of black walnut right here. I do have one real hefty beam there that has a split down it. Could be an epoxy job. That one is about, I have to tell you with the light, it's about 6 foot. And then I have some ones up here that are a little longer than that, like 7 foot. Some various different size pieces. Again, nothing real wide. I am going to be trying to provide a lot of book match pieces, so if somebody wants something that's in a 24-inch range, I could have some that are cut flat on one side, but you can put them together. Got some black walnut legs, 4x4 legs. Just did some cleaning out up here. Squirrels were wanting to make nests up here. This is just some ash over here, and some of this wood, I'm not completely sure. Well, that's an ash. I'm not completely sure what some of this lower stuff is. It has a very fine grain to it. I was thinking it was like an apple or something. There's a tree from out in my woods, smaller one. Now we're getting over to some poplar wood here. This is just some lightweight stuff. 1 inch and inch and a half. They're all about. I do have some longer stuff at the bottom that might be up to 8 or 9 feet, but most of it's going to be about 6 feet. And then over here in the corner is some cherry. I got some smaller boards here and then some bigger stuff. Not real long. Probably the longest at the bottom there is some six foot pieces. Let's see if I can get and look at the end here so you can get a sense of some of the pieces I got there. So I got some heavier stuff at the bottom there, all about 8 to 10 inches probably, with some pretty nice black cherry. So that's that's up here. Okay, now for some of my stumps. I have quite a few. This lighting's not the greatest. Some various pine stumps, maple stumps, some spalted maple there, some hollowed out stumps here that make some cool coffee tables. You can do some really cool stuff with it. There's some more spalted maple. I got one here that's kind of like a S-shaped. Some smaller pine stumps, some hollowed out halves. black walnut pieces over there. So these can be like some of these smaller ones are going to be in the, probably, $20 or so, up to some of these bigger ones are going to be a little more, maybe in like a $30 or $35 range. Some of this stuff is going to be heading up more toward, depending on the size here, probably 60 to 80. I got that's a nice black walnut piece actually there. The black walnut pieces are going to be a little pricier. The highest ones here might hit 100 or 125. And then I have these half shells that I cut these usually in half, make 2 coffee tables out of them. So they might be in the neighborhood of $40 to $50 for a cut piece. So, and a couple of longer pieces there. I thought might make a interesting coat rack or something. Some more hollowed out stumps. Just a variety here of stuff that's also available. Okay, now I'm coming into my other larger barn, and I actually have a lot of variety of old doors for relatively cheap. I don't think I have anything that's more than $40. So those are available. Up here I do have a little bit of more ash stacked up, and some of this is squared up, which I may actually, if it doesn't sell, I may be using it for a building I'm going to be putting up here. So we have some of that there. I also do have some cedar shingles, rough sawn cedar shingles shakes for sale, a bundle for $25. This lumber for here is actually not for sale. It's part of a depot that I'm going to be putting up. I took down a depot. It was a Virgin depot, and I'm going to be reassembling that here at some later date. And then I do have a lot of reclaimed old barn boards. Variety here, just a little bit of everything. And old barn boards, anywhere from probably like $3 to $4 a board foot. I've got a variety here, which I will be stacking this up and neatening this up a little bit. There's a variety of, some of it's more deteriorated, some of it's pretty decent. Next, there's some more cherry boards there and ash. More barn boards here. I also do have a little bit of some interior doors, $5 a piece, and some windows, storm windows, and a variety of sashes too that I have here. And those would be also $5 a piece. Some of them a little more. And the windows in the back are just some larger windows if anyone's interested in them. Okay, here's some more reclaimed lumber. A lot of 2x shorter stock here. A little bit of everything. There's some old trim down at the bottom. This here is a lot of some old beams I have in here. I'll get a better look down over here. Some of this came from the depot that I took down. It actually, I believe at one time came from a railway bridge, and some of it was repurposed and used for this depot. But I will not be using this stuff when I rebuild it, because this was in the floor. So there's a lot of nice like 10-inch to 8-inch beams, about 4 inches thick. So I have cut some of these up. Someone bought a 6-foot piece of this one for a fireplace mantle. I got a lot of 1.5-inch planks down here, and then down here I have some older beams that are in various conditions. Some of this came out of a house that was on this property that was taken down. As you can see, there's some post and beam type beams, and some of them have a little deterioration, but there's some good stuff in those. I also would sell those. Again, at that board foot price, similar to what we had the stuff upstairs would be. I should give you there's a price list here. See if I can get some better lighting here. Oh, that's not helping, is it? Just kind of go down through this slowly. These are rough prices. Some stuff is obviously a lot less than that. I have some pieces of black walnut that are probably much less than the prices I have here per board foot. Some smaller pieces. And here's a few more things that I have in my barn. Got some black walnut, like a double slab there for 38. A couple of odd shaped ones. These aren't perfect, you know, they have some checks. They're chainsaw cut, so as you can see, you know, they got some warpage. Some of them are better than others. Some of them are going to need some significant planing down. But some pretty cool pieces, I think. Just some smaller ones here. Some little black walnut ones and some ash, I believe those are. Here's a few bigger ones. And then there's a couple of like some kind of an elm, quite thick chunks that could make a coffee table. And then a little bit of more spalted maple I have here that's cut up. And here's kind of a unique piece that maybe somebody wants to do a epoxy work on. That one I'd let go for really reasonable. I haven't actually priced it yet. So that's about it. So that's it for the tour of the wood storage. And if you would, I'm generally available at the end of weekdays, like 4 o'clock or so on, and also weekends, very flexible. So if you're interested, just check out my Facebook page at Ras Rustics. That's R-A-S Rustics. Has some pictures on there as well. Or feel free to contact me through that for an appointment. That's usually how I do it. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.